Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 331. I'm Brendan. Dana White Contender Series, Season 7, Week 8. This is going to be the Barlow versus Forrest episode, right? We're going to cover all the fights on this card. We're going to break them down round by round, talk about who got contracts and who didn't. Kind of exciting to see this episode. Very exciting fights on this one and one stinker. But we're going to talk about that stuff, so subscribe to the channel. That way you know the next video is coming out if you like this kind of thing. Like the video if you do like it. I would appreciate that. And if you're looking for a specific fight, timestamps are down below. All right, let's start out with a quick one. Danny Barlow versus Raheam Forrest. Didn't last long. It didn't look like they wanted to be there for very long. They wanted to get in, get out. It wasn't exactly a 50-50 exchange. I felt like, oh yeah, by the way, I did find, the past couple weeks, I didn't know that they had these round-by-round stats. They do. They have them here, and we're going to use them in the future. It's not listed on the UFC stats, but if you search for it, you can find it. So they exchanged low kicks and swinging big early. Left hand lands for Barlow, and Forrest is doing the stanky leg, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end, right? Forrest unloads and gets a finish. Fantastic finish for him. Fantastic end to the night based off of the stinker, the snooze fest that we had beforehand. Great win. Forrest gets a contract. Fantastic. All right. This one was funny. So Dana White said, if you don't have anything nice to say, you don't say anything at all. We're going to say some stuff. We'll talk about this fight, but we're not going to say any nice things about it, but we're going to break it down and talk about what happened. Piazzon went for the takedown early, worked his way to the body lock inside trip. Piazzon up and down with the takedowns. This was Alexander Soldatkin. It doesn't matter. Like, Piazzon gets him down, holds him down for the entire first round. 3 minutes and 48 seconds of it. Virtually no strikes. It says significant strikes, 6 of 8 for both. I don't remember any significant strikes being landed in this round. 10-9 in favor of Piazzon on my card. Hard overhand right, then some grapple from Piazzon. Again, starting the second round, gets it to the ground, and that's the whole round. It holds on to him the whole time. Again, I mean, there was a nice kick from Soldatkin at one point, but it didn't do enough, and, that's another round for him. So the third round starts. Piazzon attempts a takedown, again, no good, and then Soldatkin lands a knee to the side of the head when Piazzon's fingers were touching the ground. Now, he was ruled a grounded opponent because he was reaching, but you're not supposed to reach, and you're supposed to be bearing your weight on the hand. So they've taken an objective rule. Is your palm on the ground or not? Is your hand on the ground or not? They've taken something that was objective, and now it's subjective again. It's worse. This is bad. How do I know it's worse? Because not 2 weeks ago, we had a situation in a championship fight in which a fighter had her hands down and was getting kneed in the head. But because she was reaching, it was deemed that those knees were legal. Now, the judges might have seen those as illegal strikes and counted them. I talked about that. If you're interested, go check out my video on that one. I broke down the Shevchenko, the last Shevchenko fight. But in this one, they showed it on replay. The guy didn't get up. Piazzon doesn't want to get up. He doesn't want to fight. Part of me wants to be just like an asshole and be like, why didn't you get up, you lazy piece of shit? And like, oh, you're scared to fight in there and blah, blah, blah. And then the other side of me is always trying to give the fouled fighter the benefit of the doubt. He was kneed in the side of the head. If he thought it was a foul, he's told it was a foul, he has no responsibility to continue fighting. The onus is not on him at that point. His responsibility is to tell the doctor, like the ringside physician and the referee, whether or not he is ready to fight again. That's his responsibility. So I'm not going to make any inferences. I'm not going to imply anything. I'm not going to say anything negative because there's no point. This fight sucked. If you're going to go back and watch Dana White Contender this week 8, don't watch this fight. Skip over it. It is a waste of your time. Neither one of them gets a contract for a good reason. It sucked. It was boring, right? It takes two to tango, right? So Piazzon was like holding them down, and Soldatkin couldn't get up. So you ended up with a really boring fight. The referee refused to break them up, which is fine. I don't really have a problem with that. You're going to get these boring fights like this, so the onus is on the fighters to either get up or go for the work for the finish, which Piazzon was not doing. No, he was purely holding. He was not working to improve position or work for a finish. Horrible fight. Let's talk about a good one. Danny Silva versus Angel Pacheco. Woo! First of two that we're going to talk about here that were just unreal. These numbers, guys. These numbers, we'll go into them, but these numbers, guys, holy shit. Do yourself a favor. If you already saw the results, I apologize. The Danny Silva versus Angel Pacheco and Ernesta Kareckaite versus Carla Judice. Those two fights. Go watch them if you're interested in this series at all. If you want some surprise and you're just watching this to get the breakdowns, if you don't already know the results. Even if you know the results, go watch these freaking fights, man. Not only do you owe it to yourself, but to the fighters themselves for putting on this performance. More people need to see these things. This is fantastic. Like, when I'm watching a fight like this, part of me is excited for them because I feel like at least one of them is getting a contract. But the other side of me is I feel guilty watching it, like I'm watching something wrong happening, and that's because I know these guys aren't making a lot of money, if any money. I know that there's no guarantee that they're going to get a contract to fight in the UFC, and they're taking a shit ton of damage. Speaking of which, let's talk about it. Hard low kicks from Silva. Hard left hand drops Pacheco, and the pressure is nonstop early. Silva was putting it on Pacheco. Silva landing elbows in tight. Pacheco starts striking back, going to the body with hooks and knees. Same sequence from Silva over and over. It just keeps landing. He lands a low kick. He throws a 1-2. Lands a low kick. Waits a minute. Throws a 1-2. And it just keeps landing. Pacheco's landing. He lands a hard uppercut to the body and then a right elbow. Silva does not like those shots to the body. Pacheco landing a left hook and a left hook to the right elbow. He threw that multiple times and landed it multiple times. Pacheco might have landed more, and they both landed hard shots, but Silva dropped him early and landed the bigger shots overall. And if you look at the striking numbers, yeah, I was right, 65-59 in favor of Pacheco, but the bigger shot came from Silva. The bigger shots came from Silva. Holy shit, what a banger of a round. 145-93 attempted strikes in one round. Let's go. Second round here. Pacheco with more output early, lots of body work. Silva is sticking him with the jab, and when he sits down, he throws and he lands hard, right? Hard body hook from Silva, backs Pacheco up, hurts him bad, but Pacheco just refuses to quit and stays in his face. Silva picking up the volume, getting a finish. Picking up the volume to get the finish, but Pacheco just keeps throwing back and refuses to quit. Silva landing with more power in this round and more volume, 78-71 in favor of Silva. Holy shit, this was a crazy round. So much damage both directions. Silva with the kicks to the nads. Never love to see that. Pacheco working the body. Silva finding a home for that right hand and an uppercut. Silva with the body kick, pausing Pacheco, but back to brawling. What in the actual fuck is happening right here? So much just punching. Punch, just nonstop. 67-61 in favor of Silva. I gave him all three rounds, 30-27. He gets the win here on all three judges' scorecards, the same, but both guys got a contract. Dana White's words were, to both these guys, if you want to be in the UFC that bad, I'm going to get you into the UFC. So he gave both guys a contract. Fan-frickin-tastic. Love to see it. Total strikes. Oh, here, I do want to look at the total strikes from that. 204-213 in favor of Silva for total strikes. Total strikes attempted, 502-328 for Pacheco attempted more. Whew. All right, let's talk about this one. Like I said, if you just skip to this fight, if you're just coming here now to the Ernesta Karetskata, Carla Judice fight or Judice fight. If you're skipping to this now and you didn't see what I said earlier, go watch this one, please. Please go watch this fight. It is fantastic. They deserve not only your eyeballs and the views, but the recognition for what they're putting out, like the amount of damage they're taking and how much they're putting out there for all of us. These fights were fantastic. Kareckaite was right in her face, throwing ones and twos, and Judice was landing some hard hooks in retreat, throwing the body kicks as well. She was actually outlanding her early. Judice landing a nice uppercut to the body and some knees. Kareckaite was landing shots as she moves forward, but she's leaving a ton of openings, and these openings left places for nice elbows and knees on the inside for Judice. Some right hands from Kareckaite. The output is crazy nonstop. They just will not stop striking. Real hard elbows landing from Judice at the end of the round. Kareckaite did outland her as the round went on, and I felt like she was always pressuring forward, so that kind of gave her that round. Now, if you look here, apparently Judice, she stayed out in front. 60 to 59 strikes landed in favor of Judice. Kareckaite did get outlanded, but she was pressuring forward. I felt like it was close enough, in my opinion. I thought Kareckaite actually outlanded her, but it was close enough, in my opinion, to where like ring generalship, right? Like ring cage control actually matters, and that's where Kareckaite took it over the top here in the first round for me. So I had her up 10-9. Second round here, the output slowed just a little bit, and then it picks right back up, right? Judice not finding the mark early, but she's landing hard when she does find the mark. Couple hard right hands landing for Kareckaite, making Judice back up. Kareckaite picks up the output even more to end the round, and she pulls ahead on my card. So 55, again, she did the same thing where, like, in the last 2 minutes, she started to land a little bit more. I don't know if Judice was getting tired, but in the last round, there was a definite pickup, and you'll see why. You look at the striking numbers here, 46 to 55 in favor of Kareckaite. I had her up 20 to 18. Last round here, Kareckaite goes for the takedown to start the round, but nothing's there. Back into the clinch, and then she takes some nice elbows to the side of the head. This is incredible. The actual striking battle that happens, there's a little bit of brawling and a slobber knocker kind of, but they're doing a lot of things. They're moving their head out of the way, and they're getting off the center line, but they're tired, so that's why they're not avoiding a lot of the damage. And Judice, that was her biggest thing. You can see that she got hit more in this round than any other round, right? She got hit by 70 significant strikes in this round. She only landed 62 herself. She landed 62 herself. But the thing is, she got hit more in this round than any other round because she kept putting herself in the fire. And, Kareckaite also took more shots this round, but the biggest difference was Judice's defense. Right, her defense was based off of head movement and exiting and entering stealthily, and she just could not do it. She just did not have the energy for it in this last round. Apparently, this was a split decision. Adelaide Bird had it for Kareckaite. Chris Flores had it for Judice, and then Kumijo had it for Kareckaite. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter for their records, but just like the fight we just talked about, both ladies get a contract. Fantastic. Love to see it. Love to see it. I do. When you see two women like this, or two fighters like this, just throw everything they have into a fight, you love to see them both get a contract. Vinicius Oliveira versus Victor Madrigal. Good performance. There's nothing bad about this performance. It's just based off those last two fights we just went over, there's not a lot to break down here. Oliveira landing some hard low kicks to start as he was backing up. Madrigal keeps the pressure on and attempts a takedown. He just couldn't do anything. Oliveira landing a nasty right hand uppercut as Madrigal just overextended. And finally, one of the big right hands from Oliveira staggers Madrigal, and a giant left hook puts Madrigal to sleep. You look at the striking numbers here, 29-7 in favor of Oliveira. He wasn't toying with him, but he was swinging for the fences with so much of his stuff, landing so much damn damage, looking fantastic out there, and he gets a contract. Overall, fantastic Dana White Contender Series episode. Was not bored for any significant period of time except for during the bullshit co-main event. I was very pleased with this episode overall, so I do recommend you go check it out. Like I said, skip the Alexander versus Soldatkin versus Mario Piazzon fight. Skip that fight, and your night will be so much better. I promise you. Watch the rest of the fights. It's not that either one of those fighters can't fight. It's just the thing that they put on is not worth your time. Right? It's not worth your time. If you're watching the Dana White Contender Series, you're watching for bangers. I know you are. All right, that's why we all do it. So I appreciate y'all for stopping by. Subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. I put out 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking down fights. Appreciate it. Appreciate you. If you like the video, hit the like button. I hope you guys have an amazing week. Love y'all.